Hey guys, so welcome back to Kelly True Thoughts. It is Friday at 4 o'clock. I don't think I ever made a video at this time. This particular episode is going to be very important to me because it is the anxiety episode. Yes, I am going to be talking about a subject very, very personal to me that I haven't discussed in detail yet with you. My anxiety and my history of anxiety and how it started and just my whole story with it. I feel that this is a subject that needs to be talked about. I don't think it's talked about enough. I think people don't take it seriously enough and they don't really realize how serious it actually is. But yeah, I want to start off by talking about my history with social anxiety. So my social anxiety probably started when I was in second grade. And it's kind of a funny thing to think about because I was at home a really kind of outgoing kid. I was always all over the place, putting on plays with my sister, my best friend across the street, and my cousins. I was kind of a little firecracker and I was always playing pretend and I was very outgoing at home, but when it came to being around my peers, it was a completely different story. But for anyone that doesn't know, that's kind of what social anxiety does. It makes you afraid to be yourself in certain social settings. It doesn't mean that you're afraid to be yourself in front of every single person ever. Some people have it more severe than others, so in some cases that may be true. But basically, it is a fear of social interaction. Okay, so anyway, continuing on. I had to change the music. I couldn't hear myself. My social anxiety started when I was in probably around second grade and maybe even first grade. Because I remember in first grade just feeling nervous around other kids my age. And I don't even remember if it was like a significant like event that brought this on or like how it started. But I just hit a point where I felt like I couldn't talk in front of other people my age. I couldn't talk in front of kids in my class. And I felt like if I said anything that I wanted to say, people would laugh at me or look at me weird or I would be judged. I just kind of felt like I didn't deserve to have a voice. So when I was in like second and third grade, I started a new school. I went to Catholic school because I went to public school for first grade and then I switched schools and went to Catholic school because in public school I was already starting to have social anxiety. And my mom at the time thought that it would be a good idea to just remove me from that environment and put me into a whole new school system. This ended up being a bit of a trend that I followed. So I started a new school and it was a Catholic school. And I just remember I had a lot of kids picking on me. Since I wasn't very good in sports, I was made fun of in gym class, all that stuff. And I just remember even at as young of an age as like 6 or 7, I would go to school and be telling myself things like, you can't speak up in class, you can't voice your opinion about things, don't go talk to this new person, why would they want to get to know you, why would they want to hang out with you, you're weird. Like, I was having thoughts like that in 3rd grade and 4th grade. And it was just, I was berating myself without even realizing that I was doing it. It was just, there were so many things I wanted to do and people I wanted to talk to, but I would tell myself not to do those things before I did them. So I would technically get in my own way. Even though I wasn't a shy kid by nature, because I would go home and I would talk my parents' ears off and play with my best friend across the street who I didn't go to school with, and my cousins who I was really close to growing up, and my sister, and I would be this outgoing little freaking ball of sunshine who never shut up. Kind of still am like that. But when I would go to school, I would just like completely shut down because I was scared. And I don't even know what I was afraid of. I don't know why I felt like if I said anything, I was just going to get made fun of relentlessly, but I just chose not to say anything because it would be easier. So from probably around like 2nd grade through all the way through 6th or 7th grade, I was quiet and I didn't say anything. In class, I remember I would sit there with my notebooks and I would just draw cartoons and I would doodle, and cartoons were my way to escape reality. They were my way to, I would create characters or I would draw characters that I loved and I would fantasize about them, and that made me happy, and that helped me focus on something other than my fear of having to be social. At lunch, I would draw. During class, when other kids would be goofing off, I would be drawing. My head would be buried in my notebook. And I was just always daydreaming, and it was because I was scared. Anyway, as I was saying, the fact that I was quiet due to fear and would draw these little characters in my notebooks and not talk to anyone and not put myself out there and socialize caused me to get made fun of even more because I was the quiet kid. And, I just started to not like myself very much in social settings. I would go home and I'd do whatever the hell I wanted. I'd play video games with my sister. I'd make up plays. I was always in my own little world when I was at home and I was accepted at home. I was around people who loved me and appreciated the things that made me unique, and home was my safe space. It was my safe space. And I don't know, going to school, the anxiety eventually got so much worse that I was having full-blown, heart palpitations and panic attacks. And in more extreme cases of social anxiety, that's what happens. So you can start to feel physical symptoms. By the time I was in 6th grade, I wanted to switch schools again because my anxiety was so bad. I begged my mom. I was like, I want to be around new people, new people, new people. I just kept feeling like running away from old situations would eventually fix my self-confidence issues and fix my problems. But the problems were always on me, so that was never gonna happen. But anyway, I switched schools again for 7th grade. I went to a different Catholic school for only 1 year for 7th grade. And in that school, I was still just as insecure. I was still quiet. I was starting to talk a little more, but I was still considered the quiet, kind of insecure, nerdy girl, whatever. And, it was a different experience because I got to meet new people, but I still wasn't a more confident person. But during this time period was probably when my anxiety was the worst. I remember one morning, I was in the car with my mom in the parking lot, and I just was shaking, and I was curled up in the passenger seat like this, and I was like, Mom, I can't go in, I can't go in. You are not making me go in that school. I am not going in. I'll freak out. I'm not going to go in. I wouldn't go in. I refused. I would not go into the school. And she took me home, and I started to even fake illnesses here and there. I faked a lot of sickness to get out of going to school because I was scared. I was freaking terrified of being around people my age. And I don't know what it was that made me feel like I wasn't worthy of having a voice and putting myself out there and showing my personality to people around me. I don't know what was holding me back. It's just whatever made the social anxiety start, it affected my whole life, all the way up until I was in my late teens. Fast forward to high school, I was still having social anxiety, but the only difference with high school was that when I was in 8th grade, I started getting into modeling. I started wearing contacts, and I started making myself look nice. I got a sense of style, I guess. And I don't know, I was still really shy and had crippling anxiety and didn't know how to be myself or really put my personality out there, but I was getting attention because I guess people around me knew I was into modeling, and boys thought I was cute or whatever, and that was the first time that ever happened to me. Girls either liked me or didn't like me very much. I had a lot of girls that hated me. But you know what, that kind of crap always happens in middle school and high school. We've all been through that, so it's not a big deal. I was getting attention, but I still wasn't confident in my personality enough to really put myself out there. This led to more issues that I would say were more severe. I started to think that I was worthy for the wrong reasons. I started to think that the only good thing about me was the way that I looked and the way that I dressed, and the way I tried to act cool, because I tried to act a certain way to fit in, because I knew, other people around me were doing that. Even though I wasn't like that at home, even though I was going home and being a huge dork, when I was around my friends, I was super cool and oh my god, it was pretty embarrassing. Anyway, I was trying to be this persona of who I thought Kelly should be. And I also just never felt comfortable. I always felt like I was still trying and trying and trying. And unfortunately, that's what social anxiety does. That false confidence that I felt, it was never really me being myself. It was just me feeling like the only things that made me worthy were trying to act a way that I thought would make people approve of me and look a way that I thought would make people approve of me. By the time I started going to college, I was exposed to so many new people and experiences, and I finally met people that made me realize, like, wow, you know, I could be appreciated for being who I am. I'm not alone. There are a lot of people that like the same things I like and think I have interesting things to say, and I really did gain my confidence in college, and I'm so thankful for that. But social anxiety really did, and I'm not going to even sugarcoat it, it really blocked me during my entire childhood and adolescence from really having fun and enjoying myself and enjoying those years, because I never was. I was scared. I was doing what I thought I should be doing. I was trying to be someone I wasn't. I was trying to be what I thought was cool, all because I wasn't brave enough to just put myself out there. And you know, it sucks. That's how social anxiety can affect people. Maybe that's why now I just say whatever the hell I want, and I try to reach out to you guys, and I love doing this kind of stuff because it feels good to talk and communicate and speak and to not have walls up anymore. I just wanted to share my story, just to share a story of someone who's been through it, because if you know someone who's going through it, or if you yourself are going through it, you're not alone. I know exactly what it feels like, and it's horrible. But just know that you're awesome the way you are, and you never have to let fear or anxiety stand in your way of just being who you really are, because there's nothing more freeing than just saying what you want to say and acting how you want to act and doing what you want to do. But I know what it's like, the anxiety. I know how hard it is, and I just wanted to share my story. Because social anxiety is a real thing that affects a lot of people, sometimes their whole lives, and it needs to be talked about. So instead of doing a review this week, I came up with a new idea. You know me, always just making these videos more and more complicated because I can never just focus on one freaking thing, but hey, you know what? That's just how I am. Whatever. Recently, I started drawing again, and coming up with some characters and reconnecting with that part of my life, which was very special to me and important to me growing up, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So I was thinking of incorporating some of those characters into these videos. I know that sounds corny and kind of silly, but since I usually talk about an emotional based topic each week, I kind of figured if I could take you on a little journey through sort of a webcomic type experience, just for fun dealing with the topic, I might as well try it out. So I'm going to take you on a little journey with a new character today, just to give a better example of what social anxiety feels like and how you can always overcome it.
There are all kinds of galaxies filled with all kinds of planets you've probably never heard of. Well, welcome to the galaxy of magic. And this is my planet, Silver Shimmer Sphere Luminaqua. Yeah, I said it, my planet. I have my own planet. Pretty cool, right? And this happens to be Sand Dollar Palace. My castle. Yeah, I have a castle too. No big deal. Well, who am I, you ask? I will be your mystical guide on this. Well, actually, why don't I invite you inside first? And here it is in all its glory, Sand Dollar Palace, my own personal palace. Welcome inside. And I am, why am I eating my mid-morning snack in a robe? Aqua, what the heck? I'm really sorry, Moongleam. I must have mixed up the panels and put that one in instead of the one that was supposed to... Of course you mixed up the panels. Look at me, there are crumbs on my face. I'm, just on to the next panel. Anyway, much better. It is nice to meet all of you. I am Mermaid Fairy Moon Princess Moongleam Mira. And this is Hot Pink Glitter Star and Midnight Mauve the Moon and Aqua, my usually trusty sidekick. I'm the cutest character. Yeah. Anyway, as a Mermaid Fairy Moon Princess, I have certain responsibilities bestowed upon me. As the daughter of King Moonbeam, I was given this magical iridescent seashell in which I have basically my own universe. I have my own magical worlds that I need to look over and make sure nothing goes wrong. Isn't that right, Aqua? That is right. Which world are we going to visit today?